men become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the ark, chasing your mark. Get on mystical formation. Tear down the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this is war. In the dark, a river flows. The Nile is so exposed. A morning star is seen in our side. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. Fly to your destiny. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the ark, chasing your mark. Get on mystical formation. Tear down the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this. We rise, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher. Conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up. We are the kings, we're the queens. We're the gods, gods to solve this animation. Tear down the walls, making our mark. 'Cause we're the kings, we're the queens. Let's win this war.
Hello, 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 governors. Welcome to Osiris League Season 8 Playoff Quarterfinals. I'm your host, Plato Gaming, content creator and caster for Rise of Kingdoms. And back to cast alongside me is content creator, Dirty Dan. How you doing, man? Thanks for being here with me.
Doing good, brother. Glad to be back. And another loaded week for Osiris League gameplay. Very excited to cover this with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The first match that we are casting today will be in the realm of Basset, W34X from Kingdom 2934 versus 76L1 from Kingdom 3176. W34X has had previous success in Osiris League, making it to the Season 7 realm of Sobek Finals. And in this season, they went undefeated in the group stage, beating KKI in the round of 16. And on the other side of this matchup, 76L1 is looking to continue their first venture into Osiris League playoffs, going 2-1 in the group stage and defeating WU in the round of 16. So, Dirty Dan, what are your overall thoughts of this matchup? And, you know, what are you thinking?
So I obviously it's always nice to see some new blood coming into Osiris League. It's going to be very interesting to see if W34X, kind of running on an undefeated streak, is going to be able to withstand potential pressure from 76L1. I know from past experiences, from just watching and also personal, that it's always nice to kind of get a little bit of an L in those group stages. That kind of allows you to kind of retweak some things and kind of exposes some of those weaknesses for you. So I think that loss in the group stages could prove beneficial for 76L1. From what I've seen before too, they do like to provision. They have one of the higher average provision scores. Meanwhile, W34X favoring a little bit more on the structure game, relying on Valiant stand a lot. So you might see some two potential different approaches here on this match. It'll be interesting to see which of these team approaches they'll take.
Yeah, as you said, if there's any time for you to lose a match during Osiris League, it would be in those group stages. And, you know, these are relatively new kingdoms. perhaps their teams might not be as formed as you would see in the realm of Horus and so on, and Anubis. So I guess, like, as we said, they're still developing. So Dirty Dan, you're in a relatively new kingdom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Winning Osiris League, it really does help your kingdom grow and kind of differentiates, because there are known names in Horus and Anubis, and I feel like in the realm of Sobek and Basset, kind of the way to differentiate is KVK record, but also how well you do in Osiris League. So I guess my question to you is there a benefit to teams that go far in Osiris League? And, for these two teams that are in the quarterfinals, how can going further in Osiris League benefit these kingdoms?
Absolutely. I have actually experienced this firsthand, being a former king of 2581. In our first Osiris League in Sobek, we actually made it into the round of 16, and we definitely saw some benefits from that in our migration, and we were able to pull a little bit extra beef in terms of whales for the upcoming season. And then also just being in my new kingdom, 2975, who did get upset last week. I think probably potentially from having kind of a really easy track, so kind of alluding to that point of having the benefit of kind of getting knocked on your feet a little bit in group stages. But I have seen them pull some pretty nice recruits, and they were champions last year in Realm of Sobek. So going deep, having deep runs, obviously getting a championship for your kingdom is so beneficial towards migration and the overall health that it can bring for the kingdom itself.
Yeah, and one thing for the players that are in this match, if they win this match, they will get the city skin, which gives training. So there are a lot of implications with what is going on here, because people usually look at that city skin, the 3% training. Right now it is called Dreams of the Apkalu. 3% training, 3% troop defense, and minus 10% infantry attack. So whenever you train it, you could pop that skin on, save some speed ups. It is always seen as the prize in these matches here. As we get into the match, let us go into this match here as we go into game here. Alrighty, we have W34X, or I'm going to be referring to them as 34, and we have 76L1 in the bottom right. I think one thing that's interesting is Dirty Dan and I, when we were talking pre-game, we saw that Belisarius Prime and Eleanor were actually included into the matchup here, so we might be able to see those commanders. What do you think, Dirty Dan?
I'm super excited. I have recently expertise Belisarius Prime, as have you, and I think both of us are maybe on this. I've never seen a bigger feud between content creators and community that this commander has brought to the fold. People saying he's trash, other people saying that no, he's actually pretty good. And from the experiences that I've had in Zone 5, and I'm sure you can speak on it too from your King's End fights, Belisarius Prime is actually really good for your lineup. And I'm super excited to see how teams are going to utilize him. I think one of the things about Belisarius Prime is that he's a no-brainer for Osiris League, so I hope we see them. And then the big question mark is, how is Eleanor going to do? Because that's a huge aspect when it comes to rally garrison leads. Always a lot of testing involved in those commanders. So will we see Eleanors in the field where we usually see the Yons advanced garrisons whenever someone is able to take an enemy structure? And that's definitely going to be something huge to look in on here.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about Belisarius that is looked down upon in the Rise of Kingdoms community is his talent trees, but for Osiris League, the mobility talent tree isn't the worst tree to run, just with the amount of the importance of movement speed in these matches. People are also saying that he would be a great arc carrier for mid, so there are a lot of uses for Belisarius that we might see in play today, which would be super, super exciting. I think if I remember correctly, 76 was actually favored in terms of betting in this match. So we will have to see if 76 will be able to pay off those bets or if 34 will be able to upset. This is our first time watching Basset this season, so it'll be really interesting to see how these newer kingdoms do. We could see like the average power is actually not that different from the other realms. We see a lot of high-powered players, average power being around 90. We see a lot of 110s, 130s. So they will definitely have power. Some people might need to heal, but we will have to see as the gates drop here. We start to see the super speedy double C's running out, the triple lines coming out. We could look at the intro rallies here. It looks like the classic. Oh, not the classic. We have 4 obelisk rallies for 34. Meanwhile, 76 running. There you go. The 4th obelisk rally was just a bit late. And they're also running an outpost rally. This outpost, I believe, is going to be the middle outpost of 34 here.
Outpost game has been proving to be extremely undervalued as we've been kind of covering some of these matches. I tend to see that teams that are a little bit more aggressive on taking those outposts, denying points, sometimes even just straight up accumulating those 90 points per minute if you have all 3. Those teams tend to be coming out on top a little bit more regularly from what I've been noticing.
It is pretty interesting. By the way, this is going to be the first cast that we have the new strategic mode. You could see that
yes,
the dots are a little bit different here as we see the initial sentries going down and these sentries just staring at each other. It'll be whichever murder ball, whichever march gets there first, that sentry will survive. It looks like 76's sentries pretty linear here. They got the 3 sentries, one at the Sky Altar, between Sky Altar, Shrine of Life, seeing the outer lane, one between the Shrine of War, Desert Altar, and then the other one in front of the opponent Desert Altar, in between the Shrine of War. Meanwhile, it looks like 34 has 2 sentries down right now, so we'll have to see if... It looks like they can't see the sentry, perhaps? Oh, no, they can. They can. So
yeah,
both of 34 sentries going down. Dan, what do you think of, I guess, like, did those sentries do their job, or are they going to be in the dark for a little bit here?
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the dark for a little bit. It's interesting to see, too. I mean, watching a team like Evil Empire who uses their sentries to find gathering nodes, I think that there comes a time where you kind of know that you pretty much know what to expect from these openings. The one thing I would say that people have to start to honor, which I saw 3 times last week, which my team 75 DC fell to, is a sneaky tactical open going to the obelisk. So sentries wouldn't help too much with that, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm kind of in between on the opening sentries in the beginning. You kind of have an idea of where people are going to kind of position themselves. As we do see a play from 76 going up to that obelisk.
Yeah, we see a lot of double C's running up to this obelisk. Will 34 be prepared for this? It looks like they are. They have a lot of troops around this obelisk.
Yeah.
This double C play.
I think a lot more teams. Again, it happened 3 times last week. 93P did it to their opponents, which was 1188. They were able to hold off on it. 75 DC had it done to them, and that actually caused them to fall. And then DNT pulled it off against their enemies and pulled it off successfully. So I think going into the deeper rounds of Osiris League, we're going to start teams be a little bit more diligent and keep honest on keeping the obelisk.
Yeah. I haven't seen an obelisk cheese in a while here, but you could start to see there is a Justinian rally on this obelisk. It looks like 34 did their scouting here. Just able to kind of read this push. There are a lot of troops from 76 here. The obelisk rally coming in, Justinian hitting the gen, so they do have a garrison in here, which is crucial. And this gen is getting swarmed down by 34. So it looks like, yeah, just insta sad face. Oh no, canceled rather. Interesting with the
Interesting
cancel.
play.
Yeah, I don't know why
Very.
you'd cancel, because you want a sad face. You
Yeah.
definitely want to sad face those marches, because you'd be able to refresh faster. Now these marches are taking the walk of shame. Look how long they have to walk. 3 minutes to refresh. 4 minutes for this march.
I'd be curious to see if maybe they were going to turn and try to eat up some teleport space, which they're kind of doing in a little bit. They're causing some disruption as 34 is kind of stuck and not allowing their cities to teleport in. So a little bit of a delay on them. So I guess it kind of worked, but I'm still confused like you on the cancel of that rally.
I mean, I guess that makes sense there, Dan. That'd be the play. But there were some marches that just walked back, and we could start to see the
Yeah.
double C's actually open field in front of this desert altar.
There you go. Now he realizes.
These openings are very, very interesting. A realm of Basset. Showing some interesting stuff here, but
Yeah.
34 taking the desert altar. This is a dominant opening from 34 in terms of control. They have the desert altar. They secured their sky altar, even though there are more numbers from 76 on the outer lane here, but
That outer lane play that you always point out, and I'm slowly falling more infatuated with every single week. The outside lane plays are so crucial. I love it. I love to see it.
especially early on into the game, right? Where
Yeah.
when Ark is going to spawn in 6 minutes, first occupation points, which gives a huge amount of points, 750 for these altars. You can't give up 750 points for free unless, you guarantee get that middle arc, that first arc. So it really makes your opponents think, hey, like, do we give this for free, or do we rotate to the sky altar, ignore mid? But then the aggressors here would actually have a refresh advantage and be able to go to mid sooner. So
Yeah.
there's kind of like this back and forth.
76 making 34 kind of make that decision right now as they push up onto that sky altar.
Yeah, this sky altar looks like it's in trouble. A lot of 76 marches, but as you can see, there are some troops here doing the circle of death. What some teams don't recognize is that there's only a certain amount of marches that could swarm. I believe it's 12. 1, 2, 3,
I think
4,
you're right on
5.
yeah.
So, but anyways, there's only a certain amount of marches that could swarm. So if you have more than those certain amount of marches, those marches are better off just fighting out in the open field and helping that way. But they were able to get the sky altar regardless, so that's going to be a huge pull for them because their desert altar is still under opponent control. The desert altar, 40 seconds left until first occupation. They have to get this desert altar back, or else they're going to be down a ton.
Probably gonna hold on to that. I'd be curious. I know it's close to Ark and middle. People are starting to rotate, but I'd be curious to see if W34X pops a Valiant stand here, which they do love to use. Is it worth it?
First occupation points, I think it would be worth it, but I think they're confident enough to say, hey, we don't need it. We just need to hold for 10 seconds. We have our open field here. They don't have that much open field.
Yeah, looks like this is gonna get cleared out. And 34 is
3,
gonna snipe
2,
these points.
1. First occupation points for the desert altar going to 34, which is huge for them. Which means that the sky altar play isn't really, something new, isn't something special, but rather something just to trade for their desert altar. But it looks like 34 is going to be able to take their sky altar back uncontested. The marches here trying to sad face on this, or trying to sad face on the obelisk, I guess. 76.
Little close to that rotation time. Some of those troops might be a little late.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a little late for this mid fight, but it does look like 76 does have the first rotate on the temple here. We see the sentries just on top of each other consistently on these matches. It's like both of these teams know exactly where each of their sentries are going to be. And I think we'll start to see 34 take control of 76's sentry, which is going to be huge for them in terms of vision.
So gotta start keeping an eye out too for these siege towers. A lot of, not I don't say a lot, but we're starting to see a little bit make appearance in Osiris League, and just how much control that can kind of offer you in these mid fights as you kind of try to push your up position. But it doesn't look like either team is going to have one. You kind of want to have one well in advance because of how slow they are.
There you go. We got some open field bouts here. It looks like 76 having the control here, able to push 34 away. 2 minutes 30 seconds until Ark spawns, and they definitely do have position. So let's take a step back and look at the opening. There was a rally on the obelisks. They canceled the rally to potentially delay some teleports, but because of that, the desert altars were able to be taken, because you know, double C's are fast, but they're not very powerful out on the open field. But now 76, because of that early tempo advantage, potentially having control of this first arc. So that early play was interesting, and this first arc will definitely prove if it pays off. We have an early fight here. 76 going in super early, to the point where they don't have a numbers advantage anymore. We see sneaky tactics, bog down used by 76. Heaven's Grace used by 76. So Heaven's Grace, sneaky tactics versus bog down and dust up, and Desert Storm.
What is going on right now?
Desert Storm.
Holy cow.
This is a new skill. So it does damage in an AoE area, Desert Storm.
Yes.
As we see a variety of skills used by these teams.
Some very interesting ones. Sneaky tactics in the middle, and then it's interesting to see that 76 didn't really want to kind of buff up their marches all that much, besides giving them just kind of like that little bit of a heal.
I will say I saw Vita use sneaky tactics in middle earlier, so there's probably some, you know, cadence. There's probably some, you know, the extra attack to the 30 marches. Probably teams are seeing that as worth the points, but we could start to see here that 76 is kind of, you know, trickling in, but 34 is kind of this meat grinder, able to clear out the marches as they start going into mid. This is going to be bad. They have 15 seconds left, and they still do have marches at the temple. Dirty Dan, I think it's going to be a 50-50 for this first arc.
This definitely does look like it's going to be 50-50, and we still have a little bit of time ticking down here. The skill usage is so huge, and kind of seeing a little bit of different things, which I like to see as we get into these later rounds.
And it looks like Ark has spawned. Who will get first pull? This is going to be huge for this match. It looks like 34. Huge pull from this double C. Triple line formation speeding away. Looks like a clear pull. A clean pull from 34.
Nice.
That is absolutely huge for 34.
That thing is really moving to what round it's making up there.
This is great for 34. As they have reinforcements coming from spawn, essentially, they will be able to, you know, the reason why pulls are super important is because if it's an extended Ark fight, those couple of seconds that you save by pushing the Ark closer to your territory, like, respawns are just super important for these mid fights. And now 76 have to push into the opponent murder ball. They have to push in, and the thing about moving to a spot is you're not doing damage, right? Meanwhile, your opponents can continuously pelt skills, continuously pelt normal damage on your marches. So it does look like, although there is
there's a
a
rotation.
sneaky 76 rotation,
With
as
the
Dirty
desert
Dan
altar
called
in
out.
hand. Oh man, nice play.
So there is 76 contention for this arc. They will have to pull off a miracle to pull this arc and push it in a safe location. They're in the middle of opponent territory here. You could see all of the 34 marches converging into this middle area. And it does look like the 76 marches were wiped here. So a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of a delay. But ultimately, 34 was able to take the Ark. And in the same time, able to hold their Desert Altar as well, which is super impressive. Hold their Desert Altar, take back the Sky Altar. We could go ahead and look at the points per minute here. 440 to 360 with Ark, with a point score, with a point lead rather from first occupation. If you're 34, you'd be super happy right now with how this opening is going.
Absolutely. You have all the control in the world right now. You're going to be able to dictate on that, to hold that Ark. You're already up on structures, so they might as well. One thing that I will key in on that I love to talk about, we do have some provisions going, but it looks like each team has about the same provisions that I'm looking at right here too. It looks like about 4-4, so those points will even out potentially towards the end of the match. But yeah, very, very nice mid-fight there, kind of swinging back and forth a little bit, some very unique skill choices, but 34 ending up to just be a little bit better there while maintaining on structure. So very, very good job, well done on them.
Hey, dude, Dan, you're talking about those siege marches for a mid-fight. What do you think about a structure push? We see a Margaret here being used out in the open field.
I think that there is, look, I don't expect the siege marches to really chunk too much damage, although they can, because like look at this Margaret sitting there kind of uncontested. It really dictates so much positional control. And one thing with me too that I'm experiencing in my KVK right now is whenever I see these marches, I get a little on the impatient end and I just kind of want to kill it, so I start to dive. So that you again, the siege marches is a little bit more about dictating control, dictating the pace. Do you want to go in and kill that march? Are you going to let it just sit there and pepper you for a little bit of damage? And we've seen with some of these commander pairings, when you have the Cordoba and Margaret, which seems to be the best siege tower pairing, it is going to do a fair amount of damage to you too. So you kind of have to honor it a little bit.
I saw an XY Belisarius Prime pairing, by the way.
Yep, I've seen a few belly pairings in the field already too, as well as behind some of these cav marches. No Eleanor sightings just yet though.
XY Belisarius Prime. So this is pretty interesting. We could take a step back real quick. People are saying Belisarius Prime is not really necessary for 2 marches, but for 3, he's definitely up there in the top 6 commanders. It looks like for 34, they're opting to pair XY with Belisarius and keep the 2 standard pairs that have been, the standard throughout both KVK and Osiris League. So that is how W34X are planning to use Belisarius. And, Belisarius for swarming a structure especially is actually really, really good. The all damage boost, 12% all damage when 5 people are swarming the structure. The rage mitigation.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've kind of been talking about with Belisarius Prime is he's a strength in numbers commander, and I haven't been able to see it in KVK. I'm not sure if you were able to just yet, but there's not enough Belisariuses on the field to kind of see that rage mitigation as you were talking about. But I think here in this Osiris League, as we're starting to see a little bit more, that active skill with the rage debuff onto the target, you kind of have to chain those together a little bit. So I'm going to be very curious to see on the timing of some of these skills as these structures do get swarmed down, given we see the Belisarius in the field to do so.
By the way, the 76 taking the Desert Altar as well as the Sky Altar, having control of 4, now 3, because they took back the Desert Altar. But having control of these altars is exactly what they need to do to come back in this game. They could see the differential right now, 590 to 210. If you're 76, like what else? What would you be doing to kind of get back in this game? Get your footing back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head here. It's structures. Even going for the outposts, getting your outpost team up and running. As you can see too, there's some provisioners. I mean, you have to start when you're down on points. You do have to start doing everything you can. So this is when provisions come into play. I believe 76 last week from our notes that were provided to us, you stocking up, which we also saw 60MX use last week in their match. Very interesting skill choice. I don't think we'll see a repeat of it, but it does show that 76 L1 will go to the provision game, and they're going to need to right now. They're going to need all the points they can as they are kind of squeaking this thing back, but with the Ark in hand for 34, they still have quite a lot of ground to make up. They are making the necessary
I will say they are committing a couple marches here to pest to the Ark a little bit. You don't really see this too often, but you know, I think they're trying to make 34 capture the Ark early, kind of trying to make them sweat a little bit. Contest that Ark so that, you know, it's not like 34 is just holding this for free.
Yeah, I like the play.
It looks like this Ark will be safe. The thing about having the Ark in this situation for 34 is they could walk into any of these cities and the Ark would be captured, but obviously for 76 they don't have the same situation, they don't have the same scenario. The only way 76 can capture this Ark is if they capture the obelisk. So as long as the W34X obelisk is not taken, there's no case where 76 can take this Ark. So it looks like, you know, there are marches that were committed to defending this Ark. So you know, trading pressure for both teams there, as we start to see the Ashurbanipal rally coming in. Ashurbanipal with Henry going into this Desert Altar.
Very popular choice, this Osiris League. I think most of the main teams right now are using the Asher any which way combo of Henry and Asher, or vice versa, but it seems that the Archer rallies are the meta for this Osiris League. Yeah.
Also for KBK, we were surprised how many Archer rallies we had this KBK. Ashurbanipal being super strong, but when you don't have the open field, and you know, 34 being super smart, just swarming down that rally, insta swarming that. So 34 looks like they will be able to hold this Desert Altar in terms of how many open field marches they have here. And if we look at the overall structure game, it looks pretty stable. Desert Altar and Sky Altar being contested right now of 76 L1.
And this
it
is
looks
what you
like
don't want as 76. And now we're seeing with the pressure coming onto their Desert Altar, this is exactly what you don't want.
We see the Gorgo with, is this Heraclius in this garrison? But yeah, taking that Desert Altar, big win for 34, continuing to, you know, create an advantage. You can see that this is a pretty standard game now. It's like a pendulum swinging back and forth, but the structures being super even outside of this Desert Altar that was just taken. We have 5 minutes 30 seconds until 34 are forced to capture the Ark, and then there will be a 7-minute 30-second. Oh, there you go. Valiant Stand, as you were talking about, used on this Desert Altar of 76 L1. Because W34X took the Desert Altar, they're using Valiant Stand to try to hold it here, but they have to reinforce it. Valiant Stand gives you extra defense, but the extra defense doesn't matter if you don't have troops. But
a lot of troops in the field, but not reinforcing. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
There you go. They're starting to get in there.
I was getting really low for a second there. Just a lot of people getting enamored with the open field fighting.
Yeah. The Osiris League filling is very skill based as well, where you have to march swap, right?
Yes.
Different from KVK, different from Home Kingdom. You could only fill a structure with one march per person. So if you do want to pull off a defense, what people usually do is they fill with initial march. As that march gets lower and lower, and they have a healthier march out in the open field, they swap that march inside of the structure for the open field march, allowing for the structure to continuously be topped off, even if it's by the same player. So as we can see, it looks like W34X was able to do that because you know, this Desert Altar looks pretty safe here.
And this is why the Heraclius and YSS has been such a popular option too, because you could just, doesn't matter the troop type, just fill with anything. keep it topped up, as they're gonna look to potentially generate some points here. It's getting pretty close.
And they were able to generate some points, so huge for them. But 76L1 able to take that Desert Altar. In the meanwhile, Sky Altar was taken by 34. So honestly, overall, it is a back and forth, but 34 taking advantage more, taking more control of 76 throughout this game. I just feel like they're taking more of 76 L1's altars than 76 L1's is taking from them.
Yep.
The Sky Altar looking pretty safe as of now. Not that many marches. Super smart from the 34 players. Just keeping these marches super low, making them, you know, have to sad face by themselves. And that's the importance of sad faces, right? If your march is 1 HP, you're not going to be doing that much out in the open field. So that's why people usually just swarm down the marches, make them red, and then call it a day, switch targets.
This is very beneficial for 34 right now. I think they're executing this perfectly with holding the Ark, putting pressure on. You can see that they kind of wanted to stabilize there a few minutes ago, and then once they stabilize, okay, let's go, let's push the issue. And now really kind of putting 76 in the pressure cooker, really trying to have them force the issue. And I just think that 34 has so much control right now. I think it was a good play to just kind of stabilize at first, play on the defensive, which you can do rather easily when you hold the Ark, and then now kind of putting it to 76. As you kind of alluded to, the altar swaps just being a little bit more in favor for 34.
These altar swaps, the reason why altars are the most important is because they generate the most points per minute. So you will usually see teams focus down these altars more so than the shrines or the outposts or the obelisks. 150 points per minute for the altars, 80 points per minute for the Shrine of War, which is why you see that these lanes tend to push and defend these altars super heavily. It's super beneficial to, you know, just continuously hold these altars, continuously generate these points. And 34 definitely been able to do so. The point lead has been kind of stable. You know, it's currently at 1.7k. The true lead, because when you capture the first Ark, it's going to be an extra 3k points, so they're pretty much up 4.7k points right now, as long as they remember to capture this Ark, which, you know, is a thing that could happen. We have 1 minute left until they have to capture the Ark. Okay, there you go. They did capture the Ark. So
nice.
The true lead is now up with about a 4.8k now differential between the two teams. Would you say that this next Ark is a must win for 76?
Absolutely. Yeah, they have to win this, otherwise 34 is just gonna go back, do the same thing, hold it, and kind of bleed them out. We talked about before, like, what do they have to do? You know, taking the necessary steps, and that is still one of the necessary steps. You have to play strong on the structure game, and then as soon as that thing is cashed, you have to have it in mind. Okay, let's start preparing for middle. Even though we have around 7 minutes left, it still has to be in your mind with the timing.
Stocking up, by the way, used by 76.
Yeah, interesting play here. So that they have to have some provisions that are probably coming in now. Probably a decent amount of provisions at that to give them a nice boost for this next fight.
Wow, stocking up. So stocking up gives you more energy points for your skill bar.
Yes, I can give you right now. It is every 3 provisions your team gathers from caravans and delivers up to 1,500 provisions. Your team will gain 0.1% of an energy bar, and this will last for 10 minutes.
Wow, okay. So definitely trying to get those gathers in before the 6-minute mark for this mid-fight, trying to get as many skill points for this mid-fight as possible, which echoes the point. They're trying to, you know, they know that this next mid-fight is crucial for them. Being down by a 4.9k points, point differential pretty even here. Outside of these outposts, which, you know, you were talking about, these outposts actually making a difference. 30 points per minute do stack up.
Yeah. I was actually curious to see too, and I kind of like the play and like the psychological aspect of going for that Ark carrier a few minutes ago. I personally would have liked to see those resources used going for the outpost, actually taking points away, and at least keeping 34 honest on that, and knowing that they have to kind of take some of their own resources away from this impressive structure game that they've had against 76 and use those to properly defend those outposts.
Yeah, it's we're starting to see that the desert altar actually being contested by 34. This last minute contest on the desert altar before the Ark spawns, 5 minutes until Ark spawns, is usually when you start to see teams rotate, but 34 is saying let's try to contest this desert altar for a little bit before we start rotating mid. It looks like 76 saying, hey, we believe in our ability to fill this structure here, and all these marches that are currently around the desert altar, you know, they won't be on time. Well, they could be on time for mid, but they won't be first to mid, rather.
Yep.
We start to see the Nevsky Justinian. Yeah, they'll be the backup rotation for sure. We'll see if 76 is gonna be able to fill the structure here. It looks like there are players walking up to this Heraclius, trying to fill it as much as possible, but the Heraclius is getting really, really low here. 34 able to take the altar. Okay, so they rotate late, but they were able to deny 300 points, at least 300 points to 76. And they were also able to pull a lot of 76 marches here. It might actually pay off this late aggression into a structure, because 76 is saying, hey, we can't just let them generate points for free during this mid fight. Let's, you know, start swarming down the structure. And this is going to be a win because they're able to deny the points, and they're also able to sad face their marches home so that they could rotate faster to this mid, rotate and refresh. 76 trying to swarm down this Heraclius. If we look at the mid fight, 76 is here below the temple, but it does look like 34 also having a pretty sizable ball as well. Although it does look like 76 have more numbers overall coming in.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to be aggressive like that last arc and push up. I don't want to say prematurely. I've seen teams kind of do that to try to get a little bit better positioning, but let's see if 76 plays a little bit more aggressively, as they kind of look to be, as they're kind of inching up a little bit more and more here.
Yeah, we will have to see. It looks like 76 able to push back the 34 ball. So that's a win. They're pushing back the ball. They have positioning here. Let's see if they will be able to transition this into an Ark Fight win. Able to take back their desert altar. We can look at the structures here. The structures are pretty much even outside of the two outposts. So as it stands, 34 will be able to win the points per minute, so they'll be able to extend this lead by quite a bit here. Looks like bog down used by 76. Oh, by 34 rather. 76 using dust up to the death used by 34, and to the death in response by 76.
Here we go.
So this is going to be the mid fight of mid fights for both teams here, using up their skill bars, trying to get as much of an advantage against each other as possible. We could go ahead and start to look at the dots here. Ooh, Dirty Dan, what are you thinking? Who do you think's gonna win this mid fight? Chat, who do you think's gonna win this mid fight? Put it in the chat.
Oh, I want to say 34. For some reason, I kind of like, in a way, being a little late. I like having those extra reinforcements coming in, but also with using to the death and having that minute to clear out some of these troops, it's going to be interesting to see if that minute is enough. I'm seeing a lot of blue here.
It is looking pretty blue. The sad face is coming out for the red side here. as we see this mid fight unfold. This is pretty much for the comeback of 76. They need to get this Ark, but it looks like they are getting cleared. The field is looking super blue.
Yeah, just very dominant presence there from 34, and that can allude to a lot of things. Allude to, you know, better accounts, better awakened gear, a little bit more troops in the field, commander selection. One thing that I noticed on that last Desert Altar take from 34, which I've wanted to point out before, that I noticed my own Kingdom 2975 doing, but there was a lot of Luce and Alex combos there. And as I watched 2975 practicing, I thought that was a very interesting choice, because Alex bringing that 30% damage debuff into the field. So again, commander compositions for teams always be extremely crucial. Account development, and we see here that W34 just looking super superior in all aspects of this mid fight.
Yeah, they're looking very strong. You could see that they were able to clear the mid fight. We have 4 seconds until Ark spawns, and there's one red march, but it is really blue in this mid, able to get this pull. And in the meanwhile, they're also able to take a sky altar in the outer lane here.
Like,
so,
sure, why not? We'll take this too.
Yeah, being really productive with the structures, able to take the Shrine of Life as well. So you know, flipping these structures while also taking this Ark. It's looking to me that 76's chances to come back is getting farther and farther away with
absolutely
this Ark getting taken.
I really question the stocking up. I mean, we don't know, because we don't know what their skill bars look like at the point, but we saw 60MX use it last week. That caused them to be down on points, actually, with a late to the death that probably could have, you know, swayed the match against 77. I'm just curious, if you wanted to save the stocking up, if you really got that many points out of it, could you have used, you know, maybe a dust up or another skill potentially in the middle that probably would have benefited you a little bit more? So I really wish, I mean, obviously I don't know if Lilith will ever implement it for strategy purposes, but I would really love to know what that skill bar looked like for them when they use that stocking up.
Yeah. Like, stocking up, I actually, this is my first time seeing it used. But as you're talking about, maybe for these newer accounts, more people gathering potentially, because, you know, they might not have the full.
Yeah, that's a good point. Kind of have to rely on something that, you know, to mask a little bit of their weaknesses, you know.
As we start going into this preparation stage, as we go into the river down there, Desert Altar looks like it is going to be protected by 76. The Ark being held by 34. I think the only play for 76 to come back would be some form of play on the Ark, but I'm not too sure how they're gonna do a play, unless they use sneaky tactics again. I believe they use sneaky tactics for mid, but potentially sneaky tactics for an Ark capture. Is that in the play for 76?
I mean, it would have to be that getting the Ark and somehow cashing it is really the only thing that I can see them potentially doing. Yeah, the structure game has been so good for 34 right now. I don't think that they're going to let that go from their grips. So 76 absolutely needs to do something here to make a play on that Ark. But when you do that, you pretty much leave everything else open. So you're going to go make the play for the Ark. You're probably going to leave most of your structures vulnerable. It's a catch-22. Usually at this point in the match, it's almost, but we're just casters. We're not actually the matches. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some really nice play here.
We see energetic used by 34. Just, you know, getting their skill bar popped up for the end of this match here. 17 minutes rather left in this match, and you could see 76L diving this Ark. They got
They
the
know
open
it.
field coming there. They know that this is their last chance. Let's see. Yeah, the Ark carrier is awake. They are active. This might force the Ark carrier to capture early. Oh, wow. The Ark carrier is going far away. Where's the Ark carrier going? It's walking over yonder. 22 seconds to where it's walking. It's walking in this top left corner of the obelisk, perhaps. But I think it's because they have no vision of the Ark. Wait. They have no vision of the Ark, I think. Because they don't have outposts. So the Ark carrier is trying to go into the fog of war, but it looks like they know exactly where the Ark is, so they're able to find it. What will the Ark carrier do? Are they going to capture?
There's a pretty big presence there from 76 to potentially take that obelisk as they do start to do so. Attack on the Ark carrier right now. Not a lot of presence from 34.
They captured.
Starting to trickle in from the back. Oh,
They captured.
Okay.
That is exactly what you need to do. The only way 76 come back is if they captured that Ark and they're able to take it. But 34 was like, okay, if you guys want us to capture the Ark, we'll capture it and gain another 3.5k points.
Yeah,
Now they're up by 9.3, and the third Ark that will spawn only gives 4k.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer almost. It's like, okay, we're still safe. You know, they had a large enough lead to, you know, be able to have the, I guess, ability to capture that without having a repercussion of maybe that last Ark catching 76 up to potentially win. But with it kind of being a little bit sealed in terms of the points, it was a no-brainer there.
As we start to see, there were repercussions of all of those units being used to take that Ark. They are trying to swarm down this obelisk, but their Sky Altar taken, all 3 outposts are taken. Their own obelisk was taken by 34 here, as 34 is continuously trying to defend this obelisk from the marches that walked up to take that Ark. And it looks like 34 will be able to hold their obelisk here. So 76 with a Hail Mary play. I respect it. I think sneaky tactics would have been a crazy play where 34 wouldn't have been able to see the marches come up, but
yeah,
at the same time, 34 just having the Ark in that area just meant that they had control the whole time, no matter what they did.
That would have been a really nice, at least for content's sake, to see the sneak tactics used. Not sure if it would have made too much more of a difference, but at least for content's sake, it would have looked pretty cool.
As we start to see 34 also taking the Shrine of War here. There's always this split second when you say it early, but then the structure is holding for a little bit.
Yeah.
If you cast it, Kirsty, but able to take the Shrine of War there as well. This bottom side has been pretty stable, but because of the attack of 76 on this top side, they lost their 2 structures. It looks like 34 actually gaining points from the 76 home Sky Altar as well, and you can see the point lead getting bigger and bigger. 10k point differential. Unless they somehow break the provisioning world record and capture the Ark, it's going to be a pretty tough comeback for 76. If I remember correctly, I believe 76 was actually favored in this matchup in terms of betting. I might be wrong.
Whoever bet on them then making a pretty nice penny on those Oryx.
As we, see these last couple of marches, they're rotating mid early. This is the normal time that you're supposed to rotate mid, but this match there's been some pretty late rotates. But yeah, there's no one from the 76 side. 76 actually walking away from mid from what it looks like. So 34 is like, okay, we have to capture Ark early, but we're gonna go to mid early as compensation to make sure that we secure this mid fight, that we secure this last Ark, and we secure this game. eliminating any path to come back from 76.
See the true walk of shame there from 76, getting into the middle. I think he maybe have peaked at some of those 34 marches. Like, you know what? I think this is it.
As I think it's pretty interesting to see the marches that are completely healthy, because you can tell who's VIP 18 and who's not. 330K is an fully expanded VIP 18 march. We could see 330K here, 330K there. So, you know, 76 do have players that are VIP 18. But it looks like most of the players, we see 310, but most of the players from 34 are VIP 18, and VIP 18 proving to be a really big boost with the extra troop capacity, the all damage from VIP 17, and you know that might be a difference, because you know usually in the older realms, Horus, Anubis, everyone's VIP 18, but when you go to Basset, it does actually prove to be a difference for some of these teams here.
It's a good call out. I mean, even myself, the 5-year-old account, I just got VIP 18, so partaking in Osiris League matches in the past with the VIP 17 and 310, I definitely know the pain of running into a team that's full of VIP 18 players for sure.
It looks like 76 murder balling very far back.
Strategist?
Let's see.
No.
They actually see this, by the way. 34 see this murder ball
Oh yeah,
by the outpost because of the sentry. So this sneaky murder ball play from 76 is in plain sight of 34. A huge sentry by 34 here. As Ark is going to spawn in a minute 30. Those marches in that murder ball will have to start marching soon if they plan to contest this Ark. I think it might be a sneaky tactics play into not contesting for mid, but rather trying to get a pull, perhaps, with the fog. Also, I'm not too sure what they're doing here. they're dead. What do you think they're doing? What's the murder ball by the outpost here for?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Master Strategist, but then kind of sitting and thinking on it for a little bit more. I don't think that's the play. Number one, I don't know if they have all the skill points for the Master Strategist, so the sneaky tactics does make sense here. But like you said, they have to get moving soon. I mean, this Ark is going to spawn. Okay.
It is sneaky tactics.
Now let's see.
Oh, Desert Storm. Oh, wow. Oh my. So Desert Storm actually counters sneaky tactics because it grants vision. So all these marches are seen now.
Oh yes. Yeah. That's that chaining of skills with the sentry into Desert Storm.
And they are spamming emojis saying, "We saw you this whole time." And now 76, they don't have the invisibility cloak anymore. They're like, what do we do here? Ark spawning in 40 seconds.
What a play by 34. Oh man,
that was the highlight in my opinion of this game.
That was nice. I like that.
Showing the different skills. 34 must have known that 76 used sneaky tactics in previous games, so they're like, okay, let's use the skill that counters sneaky tactics, which is Desert Storm, doing extra damage but also unstealthing their opponents here. I love the bog down usage around the temple so that if they try to get a pull, they're going to be super slow. Oh, they are going for a Master Strategies play. They're trying to capture this Ark, get a pull with Master Strategies. Will they be able to get a pull? Will 76 be able to get this pull here? 3, 2, is that a 76 march that has it? It's 34.
Wow.
34 able to get that pull.
Hey,
without that Desert Storm, that might have been an actual play.
Yeah. Talk about a Hail Mary play there, and good on both teams, honestly, as this thing kind of winds down and knowing it's out of reach, just going for it. 34 obviously up on point, you knowing how to counter the moves that were coming to them, and then also 76, a bold combination of skills with key tactics, master strategist there. Although knowing it's out of reach, at least trying to get on the board with an Ark capture. You got to respect what we just saw there.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I've always talked about the sneaky tactics into master strategies as like a potential play to steal an Ark from an opponent. And I love the fact that 76 tried it, but the fact that I love even more is that it was thwarted by a sentry that just saw everything that was happening. The MVP sentry right here, able to see everything. Desert Storm absolutely smashing their plans, the hopes, the dreams away. The specs of they're I'm just imagining the March is wearing an invisibility cloak, and then just a bunch of dust that comes in, so then they're just like able to be seen because of all the dust in the air. As 76, you know, that is one way to go out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, one way to go out there. I mean, hey, give the community a little bit of a show, kind of wrap things up. I'm curious, maybe that stocking up had a little bit more, because I honestly didn't expect them to have that many skill points available for some reason. I wasn't honestly keeping track, but it just felt like they didn't have that full 9 points to use.
Yeah.
So maybe the stocking up actually does give quite a good amount of energy points there to your bar.
Yeah, I think stocking up, it's like an econ trait where you use points for now, but then you gain it back later. So those 10 minutes of gathering probably gave them those extra points that would have been missing otherwise.
I'm curious. I didn't even realize this too. No energetic 76, which is like the meta. Like everyone opens up with energetic, and them not opting for it. Instead, that mid play or that mid match stocking up. So interesting play there. As we kind of allude to con skills, I energetic's the way to go. Just because it seems like. Just because everyone does it.
Yeah, you see JST, Wib, 960, 93T. They kind of like the top teams usually dictate the meta, and you see a lot of the teams, imitate those skills. So 76 using stocking up against the grain, against the meta, but it's looking like the meta is going to be winning this match here, with stocking up being used by 34 as well. Not stocking up, rather energetic being used by 34.
I guess you can make the case for either, because from what I think it's energetic gives you about 3 skills to use in the first go, whereas otherwise you only have 2. But it looks like the stocking up is a play for later in the match to give you that full skill bar, potentially, kind of what we just saw with 9 points being used at the end. So yeah, it's very interesting. Maybe there is something to look into here for potential future matches, if maybe energetic is the play to get a little bit of a jump early on skills, and stocking up is used to have some skills in the back pocket later on in the match. So potentially something to use, but as you kind of said, these top tier teams kind of dictate the meta. So until we see otherwise, I would expect us to see energetic be used.
Yeah, as we start to see 34 potentially starting to swarm. They are swarming some cities here, although they do have a Gorgo on their wall, so it's not going to be a free burn for them. But just having some fun. A pretty comfortable win for them. As we see the Flavius. Hey, Flavius using an Ark of Osiris. I love to see it. Flavius Charles, it looks. That's exactly what I use on my wall because I don't have anything else. As we start to see 34 just having some fun, and they look pretty strong here in this realm of Basset. Dirty Dan, you're in the realm of Basset yourself, as you said.
Yes.
Unfortunately, your kingdom getting defeated. Who do you think's the favorite in Basset if you were to pull off a name, a team?
I also really like DNT 2973. That's where some of my friends from 2581, a lot of key players from our Osiris League team, they actually went. They had the big match today against 74 and W, I think it is. But that team that I called out, 74 and W, is the clear favorite in the realm, based on the Eye for Talent bets. But DNT, I would not sleep on. I'm trying to pull up scores here now for us. See some of them. DNT is playing at the 15 UTC slot. I have watched 04BB. They're a pretty sound Osiris League team as well. So although a little bit of these newer teams, I think we are seeing some pretty sound Osiris League gameplay from these. So the newcomer realm kind of proving to be quite entertaining from what we've seen here in terms of skill usage, skill counters. But in terms of a favorite, I think with that 748W, it is just being such heavy favorites, Eye for Talent era.
Yeah, there you go. Eye for Talent, Basset. We will probably be coming back to this realm as well as we get into the semifinals and the finals here. This being the quarterfinals, so 2 more games or one more win for 76, as it looks like 76 will come away with this. 76 will be able to make it to the semifinals. They will be able to get their training skin, which is huge. And if they win the semifinals, they're going to be in that finals. So these teams, you know, as we continue to cut teams out from this knockout stage, the games are going to get more and more and more contentious, and they're going to get, you know, a lot more competitive here. And you know, this was probably one of the most interesting skill usages I've seen so far in Osiris League. I just absolutely love the uses of Desert Storm. I believe they looked at the scouting report, they looked at sneaky tactics, and they're like, all right, let's just use Desert Storm. Let's pull Desert Storm.
Yeah, and I mean that's why this go around is so different, and this is where we're kind of now teetering into an esports realm. You can get footage on people, you have film, do your homework. I'm still waiting to see if anyone finally learns that Evil Empire provisions like crazy and stops them, because they keep winning that way. So you can scout guys, all the film is there. It's see how these plays unravel, and I think what we're going to get from this Plato is just more and more high-end matches as we continue on to these later stages.
Absolutely. And this season is going to be super fun with the replays, with the amount of footage there is. And GG's 76L1 with the MVP, 236k individual score. And they also, but they came up with a loss with 2934 W34X having 40k points versus 76L1's 23.6k points. And they won from Ark of Osiris, occupation score, and even 1 point from provisioning. So, you know, really dominant performance from them. Dirty Dan, do you have any final words for this match here?
No, just very clean from W34. A brilliant play at the end. Very good on them to kind of do that homework in advance and get the scouting report on 76. So I'm looking forward to it, especially as we get into these later rounds. Who's doing their homework? Who's going to see these intricacies, find the tendencies of their opponents, and who's going to take advantage of this replay feature?
Be sure to subscribe to this channel, the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, for more Osiris League content. we have more games at 15 UTC. So we'll see you then.